Hey, what's up? So I've been scrolling through YouTube trying to think of ideas for a roller coaster in my realm when I came across a video by Sit Back in Minecraft where they used a copper golem as a security guard to a base. And I thought that this would be a really good idea to create a ticket system with, where you give the copper golem the ticket to take the ride and a door opens allowing you to access the ride, and if you give an incorrect ticket then nothing happens. So after a lot of research I put together this, and let's take a look. We give the copper golem here 1 emerald, which I chose to be the ticket to ride. The golem's going to take that emerald out, and this door should open, allowing me to now go on my roller coaster. Now if we give the copper golem an incorrect item, like this honey, it's not going to open the door at all, preventing people from just putting an item in there to ride the ride. And there we go. So let's take a look at how this system works. This is just kind of an overview of everything. So the item is placed in the chest by the copper golem. That's going to activate, in this case, that redstone lamp, which would be equivalent to that door. It's going to cycle all the way down here, and we now have that. So we were paid 1 emerald for somebody to ride that ride. If they place the incorrect item in the chest, it's just going to filter over here and end up into this chest, and the redstone light does not turn on. It's pretty complex. It is fairly expensive for a survival world. I'm sure that there's a way to replace the hoppers with kind of like a water column. I'm just learning redstone, so I'm not sure exactly how that works. I liked the security knowing that items are for sure moving in the correct order through the hopper. So that's why I chose to use the hopper. I chose to use a barrel here because it's more sensitive for the comparators, and when one item goes in there, the light turns on because players are only going to be placing one item, one ticket. I want to make sure that it's sensitive to sense that one item. So let's take a look at how this is built. Alright, so we're going to start by placing 11 blocks going vertically, and then we're going to place our chest. This is going to be the chest that the golem is placing the items into. Next, we're going to set up a path to create our hoppers. In this case, I'm going to add 5 hoppers. So they're all going to be going horizontally. Hoppers will prioritize going down when they can, but will also move horizontally. So that's how we create this filter. Next, we're going to be going down and then off to the side. And this is going to filter into our barrel. Like I talked about earlier, the barrel is more sensitive for the comparators, and this is because when we're doing a ticket system, we only want them to give one item, so we want that to be as sensitive as possible to then power our further redstone contraption. Moving on, we're going to be placing hoppers to filter this item down. Now you can use liberties here. It doesn't have to be this many hoppers. It just has to come out. We do need to keep one. I'll show you in a little bit where we are locking the hopper. But I'm going down to the ground just for ease of use. You can stop at any point that you feel is appropriate. I will show you which are necessary in a little bit. So this is what you should have so far. Now moving on to the redstone, we're going to start by creating a comparator system for this hopper here. Before that, I want to set these hoppers up for their filtering. So we're going to create a structure like this and place a redstone torch underneath that bottom hopper. What this is going to let us do is filter items. So to do that, we need 8 unique items. So using an anvil and snowballs in this case, we can create 8 unique items by just naming them 1 through 8. And what this does is holds up some of those spots. So we're just going to cycle through here, creating 8 unique items. 6, yep, got lost. 7, and 8. Alright, so we have our 8 items. We're going to go down to these 2 hoppers here. So we've got this one hopper in the corner. We're going to place them. We want to start at the bottom hopper first, so placing in the last 4. Hey, editor me here, looking back, realizing I didn't do a good job explaining this. Essentially what we're doing is we're filling the last 4 spots with one item that can't be stacked, and that first spot with a stackable item that goes up to 64. So in this case, I chose to have the emerald as my ticket to enter. So I'm placing 2 stacks of those in the second and third hopper. If you want your ticket to be another item, you can simply replace those emeralds with the item that you want it to be. Alright, back to it. 4 spots, and then we're going to place a stack of our ticket, in this case an emerald, so a stack of emeralds in both. Now that we have that set up, these hoppers are locked, so they're not moving. This is our basic filter system. We're going to get our comparators and repeaters. So starting with the comparator, redstone dust, redstone dust. This will create a system that will turn that torch on and off, creating the lock. So you'll now see items start to filter. And what's important here is the barrel has nothing in it. That's why we're going to make a system later. So we do get those emeralds down at the bottom. Now that we have our filter system set up, we are going to create a system that will hold an emerald in that barrel for just 1 second so that we can use the barrel to send a redstone signal down to what would be our doors. So building this structure, we're going to do a comparator to a repeater. I messed up here. Let me just put a repeater back. Moving down that, and then this, that should be a repeater right there going to a torch. So we're going to fix that, put a repeater down. And now this system, whenever an item enters that barrel, it's going to unlock the hopper beneath it. Essentially what this does is it'll hold an emerald in that barrel so that it can power redstone down the line. So just testing this out, we see emeralds up there will cycle through, but one emerald is always going to be in that barrel. Working off this, we're going to now build a system for the actual redstone that we want to power. So in the case of a ticket system, this will be the doors. We're going to start with a comparator to a repeater, and then we're going to build a basic pulse extender. I completely blanked there. A basic pulse extender so that the door is held open longer. Now in this case, I'm still going to remain with the redstone lamp just for demonstration purposes, and we want to set that repeater to 1 tick before last. So now when we put an emerald in, that's going to activate and turn on our redstone lamp. All of those redstone, or rather emeralds, will then cycle down to the chest on the bottom. So that's empty. We see that lamp turn off, and now all of our emeralds are in the chest at the bottom. Let's take a second and do the incorrect item filter. So we're going to start with a dropper facing upwards, and then we're going to build a 3x3 platform off to one side of it, and this is what's going to power it so that whenever an item enters it, it's going to activate and put it into the chest, which I'm going to build right now. Let's see. Just need a chest. Okay. We're going to place a chest up here, and we are going to build the system. So we're going to start with a comparator off of the dropper, and then a repeater. We're actually going to need another block off to the side here for the second comparator. So we're going to place a block there, and then a comparator going into it. And the rest is going to be redstone dust. Now what this does is whenever an item enters the dropper, it activates it to then put it into the chest. So now if a player goes and puts in the incorrect item, in this case a hopper, it's not going to activate the redstone. Instead, it's going to use the system there to place it into that chest. If we put an emerald in and an anvil, I don't know why I put so many emeralds in there, it's going to take a while, but the emeralds are activating this redstone lamp. Let's see how we're looking. Nope, put in a lot. So you'll see whenever there's an emerald in that chest, it's keeping the system active. And then as soon as the emeralds stop, which will be in a second here, we will see that system turn off. And then that anvil should have been filtered into this chest here. Perfect. And then all of our emeralds are going to be at the bottom here where we collect. So this system, you can confiscate incorrect items, you can then pocket the correct items, you can keep all of it. So now, keeping on with using the Copper Golem for this system, I'm going to build just a very basic, I guess, ticket hub, you would call it. So we're just going to enclose this. I like to keep this chest just out of sight for players, interacting with the golem, just to keep that illusion of the Copper Golem doing all the work for like opening the door. I think it adds a little bit of immersion. So just building a very basic ticket corner here, and there we go. You can make that look as you please. It probably would have looked better as a 3x3, but for this purpose I just made it 2x2 for the door. So this would be kind of where the player comes in and then would access a door. So let's go ahead in here and place our copper chest and then just kind of block it off so the Copper Golem can't escape work. And we'll place a Copper Golem down. So, let me get out of here. We now have our ticket taker. So let's go and get some emeralds from the chest down there. So we have 58. We'll place those. Alright, so now when we come and interact with this, we'll place one emerald in the chest. The Copper Golem will, get that emerald out of that chest. Place it into our other chest, and then we'll see this redstone lamp turn on, which in our case would have opened a door if we had created a door system there. And here's that emerald, our payday for building such a fantastic ride. Now if somebody wanted to place not an emerald in there to try to sneak in, the Copper Golem's smarter than that, or well, our filter system is, and that item gets filtered to this chest here. And that's it. That's the system. Make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be releasing some more advanced ways to use this system in the near future. Thanks.